Okay, welcome to another update of the most important competition in Universus this year, the Undefeated at Locals 2026 Character Draft. Leaving the Season 1 Regional, World Champion George Zhang had the lead in this draft because of a dominating performance by Godzilla Titan of Terror. However, going into the Las Vegas Regional, which happened about a week and a half ago, a few things happened. First, we had a ban list update, which did change this draft a little bit, and we had one round of redraft picks to prepare for the upcoming season in Dallas, where we will have a few new characters that are legal. So, starting with that, the ban list. Godzilla Titan of Terror did receive a functional errata, which meant that George, as the drafter of that character, got an immediate 10 points and an opportunity to redraft Godzilla into someone else, which he did. He took the opportunity to pick up Armored All Might, which was not legal for Vegas, but will be legal for the Dallas Regional. Then, going into the redrafts, Gizmo, who was in last place in the standings, decided he was going to take the new Izuku Midoriya coming out of the MHA Challenger decks. He was going to replace his pick of Toru 2 with that. Dan said he didn't want one of the new characters. He knew that one of the Let's Talk UVS players was cooking up something with Ymir, so he decided to pick up Ymir over Mechagodzilla Bionic Menace. Jet said he did want a new character. He's grabbing the new Shigaraki, All for One successor, and he picked that over his last pick from the initial draft, Splinter. Marvin, with the next pick, snapped up the last of the new characters, All for One Demon Lord. He took that over Space Godzilla. Eli picked up Godzilla Titan of Terror off of the waiver wire since it had been dropped by George. He still believed in that character in the standard format, and to make room for it, he dropped Angurius. Mike, decided to pick up Ashley Fullerton and dropped my previous last pick of Jester 1. Luna picked up Space Godzilla, which was just dropped by Marvin, and took that over Batra, who hadn't seen any play. And finally, George grabs Benimaru, the Shooting Star, and takes that over Byaku. So, let's get into the actual results and standings after the Las Vegas Regional. Gizmo picks up 3 points from the performance of Godzilla Shin Godzilla. Both of the Toombs brothers took this character in, presumably trying to beat up on Reiner 3s in the meta, and they got a top 16 and a top 32 slot, which contributed to Gizmo's point total. Siren gets 3 points from Reiner 3. Reiner got her 30-some points in the previous season, so a huge drop-off there, and none of her other characters paid off this time. George picks up 2 points from Mikasa Ackerman 4. This was Constantine, friend of the video series here, who got a nice top 16 finish with that character that he previously won a regional with. And George picks up another point from Annie, who got him 1 point in Chicago as well. Dan gets a bit of a spread. 2 points from King Ghidorah 2. There were 2 copies in the top 32. 2 points from Biolante. There's 1 copy in the top 16. So his first 2 picks are paying off there. But also, his redraft pays off as well. His buddy, I think it was TC on Let's Talk UVS, did secure a top 32 finish with Ymir, and that earned 1 point for Dan. Eli gets 2 points from Mothra. I believe one of them was him. I will say, of the 6 people in this draft who attended the regional in Las Vegas, all of them made top 32 or better, so all of them contributed to someone else's point total. I believe Eli was the only person who contributed to his own. He also picks up 4 points from Crystal Lens. There's this guy named Ezra who keeps taking this character to events and doing pretty well, and it looks like he convinced another member of his team to take the same character. They both secured top 16 finishes. And Eli also gets a point on his redraft character. One person did make a top 32 with the eroded Godzilla Titan of Terror. An impressive performance. However, Eli dropped Angurius to pick up the Titan of Terror, and local hero Calvin Tahan got top 4, which would have been a nice 7 points on top of that for Eli. So he actually loses out on potential points there. My first pick in Rodon finally pays off. I think I got 1 or 2 points from Rodon in the Season 1 Regional. However, there was a top 4, 2 more in the top 8, another in the top 16. I scooped up 13 points with the bird this season. And Pumat Soul had a copy in top 16 and a copy in top 32. Another one that just chugged along for a few points for me. However, I too missed out on points with my redraft. I dropped Jester 1, and one of the CWC homies got a nice top 8 finish, a top cut finish with Jester. Really going off with that one. Jet was one of the big winners of the weekend. He had Pony, his second to last pick in the initial draft. No one was a believer with the errata giving her clearing ability a once per turn restriction. However, most of Undefeated at Locals, as well as some of their buddies, including George, went and took Pony to the regional and just kicked ass with her. 2 members of the draft did make top 8 with Pony. There were some more ponies in the top 32, and Jet walked away with 16 points. Also, Luna, playing Peak Finger, got a top 32 finish, which earned another point for Jet. And the biggest earner this season was Marvin with the pick of Mitchell Chimino. Justin Martin piloted his buddy's character to a winning finish, a champion in Las Vegas. And on top of that, 3 more people got top 32 on this character. So that is a nice 23 points for Marvin from this season. Which leads us to our current standings. The only move in the standings was that Marvin overtook Eli thanks to that win. George's windfall from Season 1 with the Godzilla pick is still holding strong. However, both him and Luna had amongst the smallest increases in points this season. So we'll see if they get caught up to after the Dallas Regional. Additionally, 11 points were lost to the void on characters that were unclaimed in the draft. If that total creeps up throughout the rest of the year and takes first spot, I guess we just have to disband the team. But until then, we're going to see what happens going into Dallas. These are the picks. I still have to confer with the group to see if there is reason to do a redraft before Dallas itself. I will be at this regional, hopefully earning points for somebody, if probably not myself, to be honest. And we will go from there. Remember, whoever has the most points at the end of Worlds this year is the new team captain for Undefeated at Locals. Until next time, peace out.